Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. Previously, Bai was accepted as a disciple to become an immortal. In the immortal realm, Bai would discover that his chosen walk is able to double the power of anything he puts in it. However, he loses some lifespan when he does. Later, Bai goes on a mission to find Yongheng, but finds that it is extremely dangerous as they discover that a clan has betrayed the spirit sector. They manage to rescue Yongheng, but are eventually hunted down, and Bai is instructed to run away. He does, but the usually very selfish and fearful Bai eventually finds the strength inside himself to return and rescue his friends. The story continues as Bai returns just in time to rescue Fei from certain death. She tells Bai to run away once again, but Bai explains that he won't abandon them anymore, and from now on will protect their lives. The attackers are surprised to see that the coward who was the first to run has returned, but determine that eliminating him won't be an issue. They are wrong, however, as Bai finally demonstrates his fighting abilities. Fei watches in amazement as she knows that Bai has always been very clearly afraid of dying and wonders how he found the courage to come back. She realizes that this must be Bai's true self just as he finishes taking care of the attackers. Just then, the leader Chen Yu uses his malicious ghost killing ability on Bai and states that he had to use it since he wasn't going to underestimate Bai again. However, he is extremely shocked to see that Bai is still alive, so he unleashes a barrage of attacks. The powerful attacks hardly affect Bai, and Fei wonders if this is the ancient undying power technique. Chen Yu is completely confused as he knows that Bai is only at the 5th level of ki condensation, but determines that he is still far stronger than Bai. The two then battle it out as Fei is amazed to see Bai actually take hits before he attacks to reduce the disadvantage of his lower cultivation. Bai then lands a devastating punch and explains that it was revenge for what they did to Fei and Yongheng. Chen Yu is defeated but refuses to give up and exclaims that he will do whatever it takes for the sake of the Lucian clan's grand scheme. It's clear that Chen Yu has exchanged his life for the ability to take Bai's, so Fei begs him to forget about them and run away. However, Bai stands his ground and exclaims that he will go all out. Fei is then shocked as Bai summons a purple ki transformed cauldron and uses it to defeat the monster. Elsewhere, the leader of the Lucian clan is informed that Chen Yu has died, and everyone is shocked as they believe that he was just fighting 3 disciples. Chen Yu was at level 8 ki condensation, so everyone wonders if their secret has already been found out and if the spirit sector has sent a foundation establishment cultivator after them. The entire clan begins to panic, but one of their leaders named Heng arrives to calm them down, as he explains that he will take care of the problem. Back in the forest, Bai is surprised to find that he is still alive, and explains that he promised Fei they would return to the sector together. Fei must then point out to him that he has been pierced by a sword, but assures him that she will remove it and heal him. She begins a countdown and Bai screams in agony before she even touches the sword. Bai explains that he was just nervous, and Fei uses that moment to remove the sword. She wonders where the brave Bai that charged back to save her has gone, but sees that Bai is fast asleep. The moment is a bit too intimate for Fei, so she drops him, and Yongheng marvels at the progress Bai has made since he last saw him 6 months ago. Yongheng believes that Bai is even stronger than the chosen ones of the spiritual sector, and points out how extremely rare it is for someone to be able to learn the undying skill. Furthermore, he is amazed at how Bai's ki condensation is only at level 5, but Bai still managed to create such a powerful cauldron. Bai is humble about the entire situation and explains that he just thought up that attack at the last moment. Just then, Bai notices that things are a bit too quiet and sacrifices his body once more when he takes an arrow for Fei. Nearby, Heng arrives to inspect Chen Yu's body and can tell Chen Yu was forced to use their clan's forbidden technique. He can sense that the person that defeated Chen Yu has outstanding battle strength, but this only excites him. Elsewhere, our group attempts to escape the mountains as they are being hunted by the Lucian clan, and Bai determines that at their current speed, it will take them 3 days. They must fight countless enemies as they flee, but stop for a moment. Here, Yongheng can't thank Bai enough for sacrificing his own life to save him, and reveals that he will have to repay this huge favor in his next life. Bai refuses to just let him die and reminds Yongheng that they have some elixirs that can help. However, after some time passes, we see that Yongheng isn't getting any better, and he asks that they stop wasting medicine on him. He points out to Fei that the Lucian clan has several people that are much higher level than them, and since Bai is only at level 5 ki condensation, he predicts Bai won't be able to endure for much longer. Their chance of escaping the mountain is very low, and they both acknowledge what they must do. Bai then finishes blocking the cave entrance and explains that his friends can now rest easy. However, they can sense that evil is approaching, but Yongheng explains that it can't be the clan's leader since he must stay at the center of the reverse spirit great array since it is near completion. Everyone is then shocked when Fei reveals that she has heard of a man in the Lucian clan named Heng that has reached the peak of level 9 ki condensation. Just then, one of the clan members arrives at the cave and attempts to report his discovery to Heng, but Bai eliminates him. They aren't safe just yet though, as red clouds begin to form, and they can tell that it's from a powerful familiar controlled by Heng. Bai points out that they must avoid fighting him at all costs, and must run immediately. However, his two companions refuse to go and point out that they have both sustained very serious injuries. They are also out of spiritual energy and move even slower than mortals now. They state that Bai is still fast though, and if he can escape to report to the spirit sector, then there is a small chance they can survive when the sector sends help. Bai refuses to be tricked though and believes that they are just trying to sacrifice their own lives so that he can escape. Bai refuses to go, but the evil is approaching rapidly, so Fei threatens to take her own life if Bai doesn't leave. He reminds her of when she said that they must fight with everything they have, but they point out how Bai leaving is their only hope of surviving. Fei demands he leave already, and so Bai does. Bai runs as fast as he can as the two he left behind reveal that at least Bai will be able to survive alone. They prepare to buy him some time to escape as the evil approaches, but we see that Bai is actually determined to save everyone. He runs to the top of a cliff and loudly proclaims that he is there, waiting for any Lucian member that wants to challenge him. Fei and Huyun are both shocked by this and can only watch in disbelief as countless enemies go to Bai. They realize that Bai has turned their own plan against them, as he lures the enemies away so that they can be the ones to escape. Bai continues running as we see that Heng can hear his taunts, and instructs all available members of the clan to go after him. Once they are done with Bai, they will continue the manhunt to finish off the two others. Bai determines that he only needs to keep everyone busy for 16 hours so that his friends can escape, just as he encounters several clan members. One of them uses illusions while another uses axes, but Bai manages to handle them both. However, Bai must hide without moving when he is attacked from afar by a man using arrows. The man reports to the others that he has Bai trapped so they can go searching for Bai's friends. Bai determines that he must act fast so they don't find Huyun and Fei, so he sacrifices his body once again to take out the marksman. Heng is then given a report stating that they can't find Bai, but have found several bloody arrows that indicate he must be severely injured. Heng knows that Bai must have taken a hit from an arrow to land a counterattack, and expresses his excitement about getting to meet someone like Bai very soon. In the forest, Bai is hardly able to stay conscious as he determines that he has lured the enemies far enough away and his friends should be safe for now. Just then, some clan members can be heard nearby, and Bai overhears through the transmitter that blood has been found on the path leading to the border of the mountain. Bai knows that they must be close to finding his friends, so he reveals himself, and everyone in the clan goes after him since he is their top priority. His friends are safe for now, and Fei states that they must reach the border before daybreak. They rush to do so as we see that Bai does his best to continue his distraction. However, after defeating some clansmen, he overhears that the clan has found his friends. Bai changes direction immediately and eventually catches up to his friends, who he manages to save just in time. There is no time for them to talk, and Bai simply tells his friends to go. They do, and Bai turns to fight several clansmen that have reached level 6 ki condensation. They prove to be very difficult opponents, but Bai manages to defeat them all. He loudly states that he is still alive and challenges anyone that wants to try and take him out to step forward. Just then, Heng's familiar captures Bai, and Heng reveals himself as he laments how they have wasted so much effort to find Bai. Heng marvels at how Bai has only reached level 5 ki condensation, but was somehow able to defeat dozens of his clansmen and even Chen Yu. He wonders who Bai is, and Bai proudly introduces himself as Master Bai. Heng is hardly affected by Bai's attack and begins to crush Bai. Bai refuses to die there, but Heng points out how Bai doesn't have a choice in the matter. We then get a brief glimpse of Bai's fleeing friends as Fei begs that Bai continue to endure. Back to Bai, we see that he has been consumed by Heng's familiar, and he wonders if this is how he will die. Just then, Bai has a childhood memory of when his dying mother told him that he must continue living at all cost. Bai finds the power within himself to force his way out of the snake, and unleashes an immense attack on Heng. Heng shakes as he points out how Bai's spiritual energy feels like it wants to take away all life. He is amazed that Bai was able to break through to the 6th level of ki condensation just now, but points out that Bai is still an insect that he can crush at any time. They begin combat, but Heng quickly shows that Bai's sword is too weak by breaking it. Bai's throat lock attack is then stopped, and Heng breaks Bai's arm. We then watch as Bai's friends continue running, but Huyun reveals that he can't go on anymore. He shows Fei the boundary monument and explains that it's the place where she will be able to send a message back to the sector. Huya makes her promise that she will survive, and she heads off without him. Back at the fight, Heng is amazed to see Bai's formidable regenerative power as Bai's arm heals itself, and thinks about how Bai would be a good opponent if he was at level 8 ki condensation. Bai is still in a great deal of pain though, as he must tell himself not to collapse. Bai is driven by the powerful need to save his friends, and summons his purple transformed cauldron to land a powerful attack on Heng. Bai is surprised to see that Heng isn't defeated, and Heng acknowledges that Bai is indeed an opponent worthy of respect. He states that Bai must still die though, and tells Bai to feel honored that he forced him to use his next move, as everyone that has seen it is no longer part of their world. Heng's ability brings forth a deadly sword and causes him to transform, as Bai is amazed by the power of a level 9 ki condensation cultivator. Heng prepares to destroy Bai with his immense sword, but Bai uses his walk to stop the attack. Heng pushes his attack further though and manages to break through the walk's defense. The force created by the attack is so powerful that it pushes Fei off a cliff, and she drops her transmitter. Bai struggles to move his body at all, and Heng states that it's time to go finish off Bai's friends. This only drives Bai to continue fighting, and he sends himself and Heng off the edge of a cliff. A quick glimpse shows that Fei is severely injured, but is close to the boundary monument. She is completely unable to walk, so she crawls to the monument as she continues to plead that Bai hold on. Heng is more furious than ever and begins beating down on Bai, as Fei continues to inch closer to the monument. During a pause in the beating, Bai points out that Heng's punches aren't as hard as his bones, and calls Heng a piece of trash. It becomes very clear to Heng that Bai will not be giving up, so he states that Bai will have to seek revenge in the afterlife as he lands his final attack. However, Heng is shocked to see that Bai is holding onto his arm and not letting him go. We then see that Fei finally reaches the monument and just manages to send her message back to the spirit sector. Back at the fight, Heng attempts to pull away from Bai, but Bai won't allow him to, and loudly proclaims that if he is going to die, then Heng will accompany him to death. Bai then pulls the sword further into himself, bringing Heng in close enough for him to punch Heng right through the neck. The fight is over just as day breaks, and Bai proudly acknowledges his own accomplishment right before he collapses. Back at the spirit sector, we see that Fei's message is being heard by all. She stated that Feng had been killed in battle, Young was gravely injured, and Bai lured away a level 9 cultivator alone, and it is unknown if he is still alive. The law enforcement elder named Ouyang-ji is told about the Lucian clan betraying the spirit sector. He is also told that Bai had lured away the powerful Master Heng, but it is unknown if Bai survived. Ouyang-ji then has the great bell rung and sends a message. He instructs all disciples to abandon all missions, stop all training, and stop all activities to assemble at the center of the village. There, he explains that the Lucian clan has colluded with the blood sector and slaughtered innocent mortals to achieve their goals. Furthermore, one of their own disciples, Bai, had fought a fierce battle by himself to save fellow disciples, and his whereabouts are unknown. He explains that it is now time for them to act. Ouyang-ji instructs everyone to set out for battle to annihilate the traitors and rescue their fellow disciples. The crowd is invigorated as they begin to chant those words, and they all prepare for war. Thanks for watching part 5, 4,000 likes and I'll know you want a part 6. Also, all other parts are in a pinned comment below.